Hey, what's up, everybody? CM here, coming in with another episode of Common Sense Perspective as I try to put some sort of content out daily just to make light of common sense. It's my agenda to bring back common sense. A day at a time, a person at a time. We're in a place where we got a lot of stupidity and idiocracy in this place, in this space that we live in. And it's either we deal with it or we don't deal with it, right? And I want to deal with it in a way to bring back common sense and just kind of just give you guys the hoedown on things, why things are the way they are and what can we do about it, right? Because I like to stand up for common sense. So today let's talk about gas prices, all right? So obviously the gas prices is continuing to rise. I think there's like a special fee or tax being kicked in the next upcoming days. Especially, I'm addressing particularly in California, to the point where your boy Gavin Newsom, he's a straight idiot. All right, this dude does not know how to run a business because all he does is spend and spends to oblivion. And usually, when you have someone that overspends money, right, and you could arguably say, hey, you're bankrupting everything, you get fired for it, right? You get cut, you're out. But only in California, you could spend, and nothing happens. And it's really screwing people over. And, it's just continued stupidity, all right? So why are gas prices high in California? All right. There's varying factors, all right? So one, because they're trying to restrict the use of gas as they're trying to phase out the use of gasoline cars in the next like 10 to 20 years, which is not realistic and pretty stupid in my opinion, because they want to set the standard for the global world at large when it comes to how we could get away from fossil fuels. But the problem is you're extracting resources with oil, right? Oil is the base. Crude oil is the basis of, whether it's oil, whether it's for gasoline, everything else, right? And what do you got to do? You got to drill, you got to extract and refine and all that stuff, right? Speaking of which, there was a number of refineries in California, and through costly maintenance and policies and restrictions and all this other crap they put on refineries, it's costly if they deal with it, or it's just too much of a burden, right, to deal with, that they said, done with this shit. And that's what happened with Chevron. Chevron Refinery has been around at least over 100 years, I think. And with that, they decided, we're done with this, dealing with this bureaucracy, this bullshit. We're moving out. We're going to move our headquarters to Texas, where they appreciate oil, and which Texas does. They do appreciate oil. They do a lot of drilling of oil, whether it's in Texas or offshore, around that Gulf of Mexico area there. Um, and everything's more friendly, business friendly, everything in Texas. So that's why there's a big exodus to Texas from California. So refineries are either dealing with it and it's costly, or they just said, we're done, we're packing up, we're moving. All right. So you have that. The cost of doing business, right, in California, through all the bullshit. Then they want to, do no fracking, nothing, which there's supposedly plentiful resources of oil within offshore in the ocean and all that, and that basically you could frack do that what they call fracking of oil. And when you look at what technology has to offer these days versus back then, it's arguable that nowadays technology is way better, and that's an approach that you can do to help bring down cost of gas, right? So aside from dealing with this bullshit that you can't drill, you're making it hard for refineries to do their business. You also have all this stupid environmental bullshit and Green Deals type shit where they say, oh, we need clean air standard. We have a clean air standards here, so you have to have gas refined a certain way, formulated. It's formulated a certain way, so that way it doesn't pollute the air and blah 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 blah. So that costs more. Only in California, right? Nowhere else in the world that they have this special refined gas to be able to do this stuff. And I wonder, and I've never done the research on it yet, but I wonder if there's even a big difference between this so-called, refined and special formulated gas versus your regular crude gasoline, from all the other gas stations. I understand how the gas business works, right? The big name gasoline companies, the Shell, the Chevrons, right? For example, they used the sweeter parts of crude oil because there's different parts of crude, right? And then you have the cheap gas stations, right? I think Valero is a cheap gas station. Arco, right? And all those mom and pops with no names on them. Those type of gas stations have bottom of the barrel crude, right? So they're a little bit more harsh. They're not as sweet. And so that type of gas is the reason why it's cheaper, because it's bottom of the barrel type of gas, right? Maybe it doesn't have the additives put into it like the bigger name gasoline stations have, like the Shells and Chevrons and all that. So when you factor in all that, special formulated gas in California, across the board regardless, it's going to cost more. All right? Straight up. They have a summer formulation, they have a winter formulation, all right? So either way, you're paying more for this special gas. And on top of that, all the added taxes, there's a federal tax and a state tax within the gas price. So when you look at the gas price, right, the tax is already built into that price. And they continue to add more and more tax to the gas price, especially in California. And that's what this is referred to as he spiked the gas prices. Yes, because they keep adding tax to the gas. All right. And there's a couple reasons why. One, there's a lot more electric cars in California probably versus all states in the U.S., right? So the lifestyle of California and the push for electric cars has really driven down the demand of gas. And because of that, what happens? Not as much gas is being pumped and utilized. So what happens? You're sitting on supply, but if no one is using it, they need some sort of way to bring money into their little, shitty government to pay for the shitty spending that they're doing. So they raise the price because they know that either way you need the gas anyway. So you need the gas, you're going to pay. All right. And then, of course, this idiot, Gavin Newsom, is going to sit there and say, oh, it's the companies that are keep on adding all this crap into it. Then they're the ones that are, raising the price, and we're going to get to the bottom of this. We're going to need a special session to really talk about this gouging that they're doing, right? But in actuality, the gouging is happening from his policies. All right? And so with his shitty policies, that's the reason why the cost of everything is up. Whether you can't frack, you're getting imported gas because you can't, really refine your own gas here. And all the stuff that gets refined here, most of it gets exported out. You can't even use it here in California because you need a special formulation instead, which is done, I guess here, but it's a special way of doing it. Whereas the other companies that are here in California, they export out the rest of it. How stupid is that? And so that's why we pay for the most in terms of gas prices, highest, if arguably if not in the nation, because the only way I would think if anything is higher in the nation would be like Hawaii because they got to import everything. But it's one of the highest, if not the highest in the nation here in California. And so this idiot says, "Oh, we need a special session," which, as you can see here, Senate refuses to meet Newsom for a special session because he's gonna, try to, do the snake oil salesman type stuff and try to say, in a closed door meeting, probably do some sort of special deal or concession, to really say, hey, this is what we're going to do, and blah, 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 right? Come up with some bullshit, right? But so far, every time he's done that shit, it really screwed people over, and it just really does not benefit anybody, right? Last time he did a special session, it was a head scratcher too, by the way, and that special session had to do with the fast food business, right? Where they had to do a special session when it comes to the fast food wages and all that stuff, and came up with some bullshit. All right, but yeah, so that's what's going on here, and that's the reason why gas prices are so high in California, is because it's not the gas companies or the oil refineries, it's the stupid policies and the stupid formulations and the stupid ideas and everything else that is coming from the Sacramento and California government and their dumbass overspending is the reason why everything is the way it is here. So just wanted to give you guys the reason why gas prices are so high, and then you wonder why people are moving out of California, businesses are moving out of California, businesses are shutting down shop. If they're not moving, they're just shutting down completely. And the whole idea with electric cars, it costs a lot of oil and gas to produce cars, electric cars, and the components of it, right? And when you look at, again, is there really any benefit of electric cars right now? No. It's still, to me, in its infancy. The range sucks. And, the range sucks. That's the big thing. Plus, charging time is terrible. I'm not going to sit and wait for hours for charging time to finally go on to another place I need to go. Or if there's limited charging stations, then you got to wait before you can actually charge as well. So, the whole thing is just stupid. The stupid push, forcing everybody to get out of their gasoline cars. And eventually people will wake up and say, hey, we can't be doing this, right? Maybe when there's more better improved electric technology in terms of range and driving and all that stuff, all right, maybe, people will come around to it. But, usually my whole thing is if you're forcing people to do something, people tend to go the opposite way. And I've noticed that each and every time, all right? But if you leave it as something to really kind of, discover, and through time, people will grow onto it. People will be more accepting of it, right? Just like when you're forcing all this, transgender ideology down our throats, or gay this, gay that, whatever, right? Instead of forcing it down our throats, we've been seeing it and dealing with it for a very long time, and become accepting of it, right? When it comes to what people may think of themselves, but to force us to accept things and force us to take pride and all that stuff makes you tend to go the opposite way when we're already accepting of it, right? Just like electric cars. I think in time, if you're not forcing us to do it, maybe people would be more accepting of it. Plus, those kind of cars cost way too damn much too, by the way. And here's another thing: China has cheaper electric cars, but you're not bringing them in. Oddly, even though yes, it's odd how the U.S. has this relationship with China. It's so odd with this relationship that we have, but yet you cower and cater to them when they're shitty with our stuff, but yet you won't do things such as bring in their cheaper electric cars and things like that. Anyhow, that's a different story. But I just wanted to explain why gas costs so much. And here's the solution, all right? Common sense, all right? Pull back the policies. How about sidestep the Green Deal for right now and allow it to be an option instead of forcing the Green Deal upon everybody? Because we all know there's a lobbying effort, right? They're paying politicians to force this down our throats, and people are pushing back, right? But they're going to keep doing this as long as the money is being pushed onto them. They're going to push it because they're getting paid to do it. That's what sucks about politicians in California. Whoops, hit my volume on the microphone. So what else can you do? What else can we have as a solution? Oh, how about fracking? Yeah, fracking off the coast of California. There is a clean, responsible way of doing it now. The technology is way better than it's ever been. How about let the refineries do their business? How about stop with this stupid formulation, special formulation in California, right? If you stop with all these restrictions and dumbass policies, right, cost of everything will be lower. I mean, that's the whole thing. People keep complaining about, and government keep complaining about, oh, the cost of living is so high. Everything costs so much. Inflation, inflation, inflation. You know why? Because the stupid policies is the reason why. So if you back off the stupid policies and restrictions, that's the key word, restrictions on things, maybe the cost of everything will go lower. It's so much common sense. Right? But the common sense ain't so common, and California will just drive people down to zero. Is what they're doing with the stupid ideas and everything. And then you wonder why there's no one in California, right? Except for illegals. And then what are you going to do? Like, they're not going to be paying taxes. How are you going to force them to pay taxes, right? And then you wonder why your tax base is getting smaller too, right? So yeah, if shit like this happens, this is why we're in what we're in right now. So simple solutions, common sense solutions, but you have idiots running Sacramento right here. So of course it's not going to happen, obviously, and so that's what sucks. But just want to give you a little bit of the reasonings and education as to why we are where we are. So thanks for tuning in. Shoot me a comment. Let me know what you think about everything, and subscribe. Hit the bell icon as I do daily, content on just talk about stuff I see that boggles the mind. And it could be anything and everything. So other than that, I just want to say thanks, and I'll see you in the next one.